The night was calm. The streets were empty, and only the sound of crickets filled the air. A young man named Daniel walked home slowly. His bag hung on one shoulder, and his steps echoed on the quiet road. He liked walking at night because the world felt peaceful. But that night was different. Something in the air felt heavy, like the world was holding its breath above him. The sky was clear. Stars shone bright, scattered across the darkness. Daniel always loved looking at the stars. But tonight, something strange happened. He noticed that a few stars were moving. At first, he thought his eyes were tired. He rubbed them and looked again. But the stars were still shifting, sliding across the sky like pieces on a board. Daniel stopped walking. His heart began to beat faster. "What's going on?" he whispered to himself. The air around him grew colder. The streetlights flickered once, twice, and then went out completely. Darkness covered everything, leaving only the moving stars above. Then came the sound. A low hum filled the night. It was not like a car, not like a plane. It was deeper, stranger. The sound seemed to pass through his body, vibrating in his bones. Daniel clutched his bag tightly, unsure if he should run or stay still. His phone buzzed in his pocket. He quickly pulled it out, but the screen went black. No signal, no light. Dead. The road felt endless. The silence of the town was replaced by that unnatural hum. Daniel took a step back, then another. His breathing grew fast. He wanted to run, but his legs felt heavy, frozen by fear. Then he saw her dot. At first, it looked like a shadow at the end of the street, a figure standing still. Daniel squinted, trying to see clearly. Slowly, the shadow took form. It was a girl. She looked young, maybe his age, but there was something wrong. Her outline shimmered faintly, like heat rising from the road on a summer day. Her long hair moved, even though the air was still. Daniel's voice shook. "Hey, are you okay?" The girl did not answer. She began walking toward him, step by step. Her movements were smooth, almost too perfect. As she came closer, Daniel finally saw her face. It looked human, soft features, pale skin, but her eyes were glowing faint blue. Daniel's heart jumped. He wanted to turn and run, but something in her gaze held him still. Her eyes were not angry. They were not kind either. They were searching, like she had been waiting for him. When she was only a few steps away, she stopped. The hum in the air grew louder, making Daniel cover his ears. But the girl's lips moved, and in a soft, almost broken voice, she spoke. "I need you." Daniel froze. The words felt strange, like they carried weight far beyond their sound. He opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. Before he could react, the ground beneath him lit up with a circle of white light. It spread quickly, surrounding him. He looked down in panic. His body felt lighter, like gravity itself was breaking. The bag on his shoulder slipped off and fell, but he did not. "No." "What's happening?" Daniel shouted, trying to move. But his legs lifted off the ground. He was being pulled upward. The girl reached her hand toward him. For a moment, Daniel thought she was offering help, but her expression was unreadable. She was not saving him. She was taking him. The circle of light grew brighter, blinding him. The last thing Daniel saw before everything turned white was the girl's glowing eyes staring into his. Calm and certain, as if this was always meant to happen. The hum became a roar. The night vanished, and Daniel was gone. Daniel woke with a gasp. His lungs burned as if he had been underwater for too long. He opened his eyes, expecting the night sky, the quiet street, maybe his bag lying on the ground. But the world around him was gone. He was lying on a smooth, silver floor. The air smelled sharp, almost metallic. Strange blue light glowed from the walls, pulsing like a heartbeat. The hum from before was still there, but softer, as if it came from every corner of the place. Daniel sat up quickly. His heart pounded. Where am I? His voice echoed in the empty space. The room was huge, wider than any hall he had ever seen. The walls were curved, flowing upward like the inside of a sphere. Symbols he could not understand glimmered across. The ceiling, shifting as if they were alive. He tried to stand. His legs trembled, but they worked. His bag was gone, his phone, his things gone. Only he remained. Then, from the shadows, she appeared. The girl, her steps made no sound on the floor. Her glowing eyes watched him closely, and that faint shimmer still moved across her skin, like she was not completely solid. Daniel backed away. Stay away from me. His voice cracked, but he kept his eyes on her. The girl tilted her head, curious, almost like she was studying him. Do not fear, she said. Her voice was soft, musical, but carried a strange echo, as if another voice spoke behind hers. You took me, Daniel shouted. What is this place? This is safety, she replied. She stopped a few steps away from him. Her expression was calm, unreadable. You were chosen. Chosen for what? His fists clenched. He felt small, powerless, but anger kept him from breaking down. The girl's eyes flickered brighter. You will understand. Daniel shook. His head? No. You can't just take people. I want to go home. For the first time, her face changed. A shadow of sadness crossed her features. Home, she repeated softly, almost like she was tasting the word. I had one too. Her words caught him off guard. What do you mean? She turned slightly, pointing toward the glowing wall. At her motion, the surface rippled like water, revealing an image. Daniel gasped. Stars stretched across the view, endless and sharp. More vivid than anything he had seen on Earth. In the distance, a planet glowed faint blue. Its surface cracked with light. My people live there, she said quietly. We are dying. Daniel's anger softened, replaced by confusion. Dying? What does that have to do with me? The girl stepped closer. Her eyes held his again. Because you are different. Daniel shook his head. I'm just normal. I'm nobody. She reached out a hand, stopping just before touching him. You are not nobody. You are the one we searched for. The air grew heavy with her words. Daniel's chest tightened. He wanted to demand more, but before he could, the hum of the ship changed. Louder, urgent. The girl's eyes widened. She turned toward the wall, and the image of the stars vanished. A series of alien symbols flashed across the surface. Her face hardened. They know you are here, she whispered. Daniel stepped back. Who knows? My kind, she said. Not all of them agree with me. Some believe humans are weak. They will not want you alive. Daniel's stomach dropped. What? Then why bring me here? Because, she said firmly. Looking at him again, I need you. The words sent a chill through him. He remembered her saying the same thing. Before the light took him, but now they carried more weight. The hum became a sharp alarm. A door opened in the wall behind her, revealing another corridor. The light inside glowed red. The girl's calm voice turned urgent. Come with me. Daniel froze. Every instinct screamed at him not to trust her. But the walls shook as if something was trying to break through. Shadows flickered in the red-lit hall, and strange clicking sounds echoed closer and closer. Daniel's choice was clear. Stay and face the unknown threat, or follow the alien girl who had stolen him from Earth. His heart pounded. He whispered to himself, I don't believe this. Then he stepped toward her. She reached out, this time grabbing his hand. Her skin was cool, almost electric, and the shimmer around her body pulsed brighter, as if reacting to his touch. She pulled him forward into the corridor. The walls behind them cracked with light, and an inhuman roar filled the air. Daniel didn't look back. The corridor stretched endlessly, glowing red as Daniel and the alien girl ran side by side. The floor vibrated beneath their feet. Strange clicking noises echoed behind them, sharp and fast, like claws scratching metal. Daniel's chest ached. He wanted to stop, to catch his breath, but the girl pulled him forward with surprising strength. Her glowing eyes never left the path ahead. "Where are we going?" Daniel shouted over the alarm. "To safety," she answered, her voice quick but calm. "You said that before." Daniel snapped, panic rising. "This doesn't look like safety." The girl did not reply. She stopped suddenly before a tall, oval door. She pressed her hand against its surface. Blue light spread from her palm, and the door slid open with a hiss. Inside was another chamber, smaller than the first. Its walls were covered with strange silver panels, glowing softly. The air was warmer, almost breathable. The girl pulled Daniel in and sealed the door behind them. The clicking noises outside faded. Silence returned, but the tension in Daniel's chest remained. He pulled his hand away from hers and stepped back. "Enough. Tell me what's happening. Why am I here? Who are you?" The girl turned slowly. Her shimmer faded slightly, revealing more of her human-like form. She looked at him for a long moment before speaking. "My name cannot be spoken in your language," she said quietly, "but you may call me Lyra." Daniel frowned. "Lyra, all right, fine. Why me, Lyra? What do you want from me?" Her glowing eyes softened. "Not want, need. You are the key." Daniel let out a bitter laugh. "The key? I'm not special. I'm just some guy walking home from work. You picked the wrong person." Lyra stepped closer, her presence calm but heavy. "No, Daniel, you are not wrong. You are the one we searched for. Your body holds something rare, something even you do not know." Daniel shook his head. "That doesn't make sense. I'm normal. I get tired, I get sick, I pay bills. There's nothing rare about me." She raised her hand and touched a panel on the wall. It lit up, showing strange shapes, patterns of light and code. Then, slowly, the patterns formed into something Daniel recognized. A human figure, outlined with glowing lines. "This is you," Lyra said. "But inside your blood, there is a signal, a code. It reacts to our machines." Daniel's eyes widened as the glowing figure pulsed with bright light. The lines inside it spread, branching out like veins until they filled the entire image. "That's me?" Daniel whispered. "Yes," Lyra nodded. "Your ancestors carried this spark, but in you, it is strong. Stronger than any human we have seen." Daniel stepped back, shaking his head. "No, that's impossible. I'm not chosen. I'm not whatever you think I am." Lyra's expression tightened. "Our world is dying. My people are at war with another race. We need a bridge, a connection, between us and your kind. Without it, we will be destroyed. You are that bridge." Daniel's throat went dry. "A war? What does that have to do with me? I don't want to be in your war." "You have no choice," Lyra said, her voice firm now. "If my people fall, your world will follow. They will not stop at us. They will come for Earth." The words hit him hard. Images of his family, his friends, his city flashed in his mind. He wanted to believe it was all a lie, but the fear in Lyra's glowing eyes told him otherwise. He pressed his hands against his face. "This is insane. This can't be real." Lyra stepped closer, her voice softer now. "I know you are afraid. I was afraid too when I first learned the truth. But you must trust me." Daniel looked at her. For the first time, he noticed something human in her face, not just cold alien calm, but sadness, even loneliness. She wasn't just using him. She needed him. Before he could speak, the walls shook violently. The lights flickered. A harsh alarm blared. Lyra's eyes widened. "They found us," she whispered. Daniel grabbed the wall to steady himself. "Who?" "I own people," she said, her voice bitter. "The ones who believe you should not exist here." The door behind them rattled as heavy blows struck it. The metal bent with each hit. Daniel's heart raced. Lyra grabbed his hand again. Her touch was firm, urgent. "You must decide, Daniel. Stay with me and learn the truth, or open that door and face what waits outside." The door cracked. A clawed hand burst through metal, screeching. A chilling roar echoed through the chamber. Daniel's choice pressed on him like a weight. He could run, he could fight, he could give up. But something in Lyra's words, in her desperate eyes, told him this was bigger than him. He clenched his fists. "Fine, I'll stay, but you better tell me everything." Lyra's eyes glowed brighter, almost like a spark of hope lit inside them. She nodded once. "Then the mission begins." The door behind Daniel and Lyra shook with another deafening crash. Metal screeched, sparks flew, and the roar of something inhuman echoed into the chamber. Daniel's heart hammered against his chest. He had no idea what waited on the other side, but he knew it was coming for him. Lyra's grip on his hand tightened. Her voice was urgent but steady. "We cannot stay here. Come." Before Daniel could argue, she pulled him toward the far side of the chamber. Another wall slid open, revealing a narrow tunnel glowing faint blue. They rushed inside, the door sealing behind them just as claws tore through the chamber they had left. The tunnel seemed endless. Strange patterns of light pulsed across its walls, almost like veins carrying energy. Daniel struggled to keep up, his legs heavy, his breath ragged. "Where are we going now?" he gasped. Lyra did not slow down. "To prove what you are." Daniel stumbled, but kept moving. "What I am. You keep saying that? Why can't you just explain it instead of dragging me around?" She finally stopped at another door, placing her hand on it. The silver surface melted away, opening into a vast, circular chamber. Daniel's breath caught. The room was unlike anything he had seen before. Tall spires of crystal rose from the floor, glowing with soft light. In the center stood a platform, carved with swirling symbols. Strange machines floated silently above it, humming as if alive. Lyra turned to him. "This is the core chamber. It will answer your question." Daniel frowned. "Answer my question." "How?" She stepped onto the platform, motioning for him to follow. "It will test you. It will show if you are truly the key." Daniel laughed nervously, shaking his head. "Test me? What kind of test? I didn't sign up for this." Lyra's glowing eyes softened. "I know you did not choose this. But the war does not care about choice. If you are what I believe, then this will prove it." The machines above them shifted, circling the platform like silent guardians. The crystals pulsed brighter, casting the room in a dazzling glow. Daniel hesitated. His mind screamed to run, but his feet carried him forward. Something deep inside whispered that this mattered. He stepped onto the platform. Instantly, the air changed. A surge of energy shot through the floor, crawling up his legs and into his chest. He gasped, clutching his heart. The glow from the crystals turned golden, and the machines above descended, their lights scanning his body. Daniel's voice cracked. "What's happening to me?" Lyra stood at the edge, watching closely. "Do not fight it." Let the core see you. Daniel fell to his knees as images flooded his mind. Flashes of stars, strange worlds, battles between alien ships, fire spreading across entire planets. Then he saw Earth's home covered by shadows, invaded by creatures he did not recognize. No, he whispered, shaking his head. This can't be real. The platform pulsed again, and suddenly his veins glowed faintly under his skin. Lines of light spread through his arms, his chest, his eyes. The machines hummed louder, almost singing. Lyra's eyes widened in awe. It reacts to you, just as I knew it would. Daniel stared at his glowing hands, panic rising. What am I? You are the bridge, Lyra said firmly. Half of you is human, but something within you connects to us. You carry the spark of both worlds. Daniel shook his head, terrified. That's impossible. My parents are just normal people. I'm normal. But the core did not care about his denial. The light inside him grew brighter until the whole chamber shone with his glow. The machines stopped moving, as if bowing to him. Then, suddenly, the energy cut off. Daniel collapsed onto the platform, gasping for air. The glow faded from his skin, leaving him trembling and weak. Lyra rushed to his side, kneeling beside him. Her expression, usually calm, now carried something else. Hope. You saw it. The core chose you. Daniel coughed, shaking his head. I didn't choose anything. I don't want this. Lyra placed a hand gently on his shoulder. Want it? Or not, it is yours. You are the proof my people need. With you, we can survive. Before Daniel could answer, the walls trembled again. The door behind them shook violently. Voices, strange, harsh, clicking tones echoed through the chamber. The enemies had found them. Lyra stood, pulling Daniel up with surprising strength. They will not allow this. They fear what you are. We must leave. Daniel staggered too, his feet still shaking from the test. His mind spun with the visions he had seen, the glow in his veins, the idea that somehow he was part of something bigger than himself. But there was no time to think. The door burst open and shadows poured in, tall figures with twisted armor and glowing red eyes. Their claws scraped the floor as they moved forward, surrounding the chamber. Daniel froze in terror. What do we do now? Lyra's eyes blazed bright blue. Her voice was calm but fierce. Now, Daniel, you fight. The chamber filled with red-eyed figures, their clawed feet clicking against the floor as they closed in. Daniel's breath caught in his throat. The visions from the core still burned in his mind, worlds on fire. Earth swallowed by shadows, but none of that prepared him for the monsters standing before him now. They were taller than humans, armored, with sharp black plates that seemed to grow from their bodies. Their eyes glowed crimson, and their growls shook the air. Daniel whispered, his voice trembling, "They're going to kill us." Lyra stepped forward, her glowing blue eyes locking on the creatures. "Stay behind me," she said firmly. One of the warriors hissed in their strange, clicking language. Then it spoke in broken English, its voice deep and distorted. "Give us the human. He does not belong." Daniel's stomach turned. They were here for him. Lyra's voice was calm but sharp. "He is chosen. He is under my protection." Creatures hissed again, spreading out, their claws tapping against the crystal floor. The tallest one stepped closer, its jagged teeth showing in a grin. "Then you die with him." Daniel's legs nearly gave out, but Lyra raised her hand. Blue light burst from her palm, forming a shield of energy. The first strike slammed into it, sparks flying. Daniel stumbled back as the chamber shook from the force. "Run, Daniel!" Lyra shouted. "Find cover." But Daniel froze. His heart pounded, torn between terror and something else, guilt. She was fighting for him, risking her life, and he was hiding like a coward. The Corps' visions came rushing back. He saw Earth again, his city, his family. If he walked away now, maybe he'd survive. But if what Lyra said was true, Earth wouldn't survive for long. Another strike hit Lyra's shield. She staggered, her shimmering form flickering. Daniel's chest tightened. He couldn't just watch. No, he whispered, fists trembling. Not this time. Something inside him stirred, the same spark that had lit his veins during the test. His body felt hot, alive. He stepped forward, his hands glowing faintly with golden light. Lyra glanced back, surprise flashing in her eyes. Daniel, wait. But it was too late. One of the warriors lunged at him, claws raised. Daniel threw up his hands instinctively. A burst of light exploded outward, slamming into the creature and sending it crashing into the wall. Daniel gasped. His arms shook. His heart raced. But he was still standing. The other creatures hissed in rage, circling him now. Lyra moved quickly to his side, her shield flaring brighter. You awakened it, she said breathlessly. A Corps' gift. Daniel shook his head, disbelief in his voice. I don't know what I did. You chose, she said simply. You chose to fight. The warriors attacked again. Together, Daniel and Lyra pushed back. She wielded her strange blue energy, slicing through the air. While Daniel's bursts of golden light struck out clumsily, but with surprising power. It wasn't graceful. It wasn't perfect. But it was enough. One by one, the creatures fell, retreating into the shadows. The tallest one snarled before vanishing into the corridor, its red eyes burning with hate. The chamber fell silent. Daniel collapsed to his knees, gasping for air. His hands still glowed faintly, but the energy was fading. Lyra knelt beside him, her expression unreadable. For a moment, there was only silence between them. Then she spoke softly. You had a choice, Daniel, to run or to stand. You chose to stand. Daniel laughed bitterly, shaking his head. I almost ran. I wanted to, but something wouldn't. Let me. Lyra's voice softened. That is why you are different. Daniel looked at her, anger flashing in his eyes. Different? You called this different? I didn't ask for this. I didn't want your war, your enemies, your power. Lyra's expression tightened, but her voice stayed calm. I know, none of us asked for this, but fate does not ask. It takes. Daniel turned away, staring at his trembling hands. He thought of Earth again, his family, his friends. If the war was real, if the visions were true, then his life was. No longer his own, but deep down, he knew something else. If he walked away, he'd never forgive himself. He clenched his fists. If I help you, if I fight, then you swear you'll protect Earth. Lyra's glowing eyes met his. With my life. Daniel nodded slowly, the weight of his decision pressing down on him. He had made his choice, but before he could say more, the chamber's walls flickered and a deep voice echoed from above, shaking the air. You are not ready. Daniel froze, looking up. The ceiling dissolved into a swirl of stars, and a massive shadow moved across them. A figure, far larger than any warrior he had seen, loomed in the darkness. Lyra's face paled. Oh no, she whispered. Daniel's stomach dropped. Whatever this was, it wasn't just another soldier. It was something far worse, and it was coming. For him, the chamber trembled as the voice echoed, deep and commanding, shaking every crystalline panel. Daniel looked up in horror. The ceiling had dissolved into a vision of stars, and out of that endless blackness, a massive figure emerged. It was not just a soldier, It was something greater, something that felt ancient. The shadow stretched wider than the chamber itself, its glowing red eyes like burning suns. Claws long as spears reached forward, pressing against the walls of reality. Daniel's breath caught. What? What is that? Lyra's face was pale, her glow flickering. The warden, she whispered. One of the guardians of my people. It judges who is worthy to live and who must be erased. Daniel's stomach dropped, and it thinks I don't belong. The warden's voice thundered again, shaking the floor. The human must be destroyed. His light will bring ruin. The walls cracked, and the figure began forcing its way into the chamber. The air grew heavy, pressing down on Daniel's chest. He dropped to one knee, gasping for air. Lyra grabbed his arm, pulling him up. Stay with me. Don't let it break you. Daniel shook his head. I can't fight that. Look at it. You can, Lyra said firmly. The core gave you its spark. It will answer you if you call it. Daniel stared at her, terrified. And if it doesn't? Lyra's blue eyes glowed brighter, fierce and determined. Then we die together. Td? Warden roared, a sound like metal grinding against stone. Its massive hand struck down, claws tearing through the floor. Daniel rolled aside just in time, shards of crystal exploding around him. Lyra raised both her hands. A shield of blue light erupted, blocking the next strike. The impact sent a shockwave across the chamber, throwing Daniel back. He slammed into the wall, coughing. His hands shook, glowing faintly again, but weaker than before. He closed his eyes, remembering the core, the golden veins, the energy that had surged through him. He tried to reach for it, but fear clouded his mind. I can't, he muttered. I'm not ready. The warden's voice boomed. Human weakness. This is why you cannot survive. The massive figure raised its claw again, aiming straight. For him, Daniel froze. Time slowed. In his mind, he saw his family again. His mother, his father, his little sister. He saw Earth, glowing blue and green, fragile against the darkness of space. If he failed here, if he died, what would happen? To them, his chest tightened. No, he whispered. He clenched his fists. Light flared in his veins again, stronger than before. He stood, his fear burning into determination. I won't let you take my world. Golden fire erupted from his hands, blasting upward. The warden staggered back, its roar shaking the stars above. Lyra's eyes widened. Yes, Daniel. That's it. Hold on to it. The glow spread across his entire body, brighter than the crystals themselves. His feet lifted slightly from the ground, energy surging through him. For the first time, Daniel felt not powerless, but alive. The warden swung. Again, claws cutting through the air. Daniel raised his hands, and a golden shield appeared, clashing against the blow. The impact shook his bones, but the shield held. Daniel shouted, his voice echoing across the chamber. I'm not weak. He pushed forward, blasting the wardens. Claw with a beam of golden light. The massive figure reeled back, its roar shaking the void. Lyra joined him, sending her own streams of blue energy, weaving them with Daniel's golden power. The two forces combined, spiraling upward in a storm of light. The warden staggered, its form flickering. Impossible, a human cannot. Daniel clenched his teeth, pushing harder. His arms ached, his body screamed, but he refused to stop. The memory of Earth burned in his mind, giving him strength. With one final surge, he and Lyra unleashed a wave of light so bright it blinded the chamber. The warden roared, its shadow ripping apart, dissolving into fragments of dark smoke. The chamber shook violently before falling silent. The stars faded, and the ceiling sealed itself again. The massive figure was gone. Daniel collapsed to the floor, gasping, every muscle in his body trembling. The glow faded slowly from his skin, leaving only exhaustion. Lyra knelt beside him, her expression softer than he had ever seen. "You did it," she whispered. "You stood against the warden. No human has ever done that." Daniel coughed, forcing a weak laugh. "Yeah, but I feel like I got hit by a truck." Lyra almost smiled, though sadness lingered in her eyes. "The warden will return, but now it knows you are real, and so will the others." Daniel's chest tightened. "The others?" Lyra looked away, her gaze distant. "The council of my people, they will not all accept you. Some will see you as hope, others as a threat." Daniel sat up slowly, dread filling him again. He had fought the impossible and won, but it was only the beginning. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. "You must prepare. The battle has only started." Daniel swallowed hard, his mind spinning. He thought he had made his choice already, but now he realized it wasn't about one choice. It was about many, each one harder than the last. And the next one would decide not just his fate, but the fate of two worlds. The chamber was quiet now, broken only by Daniel's ragged breathing. The golden glow had faded from his body, leaving him weak and trembling. He sat on the cold floor, his hands still shaking from the power he had unleashed. Lyra stood nearby. Her blue light, dim but steady, her eyes locked on him. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then she spoke softly. "You survived the warden. That means you are more than we hoped." Daniel gave a dry laugh, leaning back against the wall. "Survived? I barely made it. My arms feel like they're on fire." "You lived," Lyra said simply. "That is enough." Daniel stared at her, his chest rising and falling. "So, what now?" "You said I'm some kind of bridge, some chosen one. But what does that even mean? Why me? Why not someone else?" Lyra lowered her gaze. For once, the calm mask on her face slipped, revealing something deeper: fear, sorrow, and maybe even guilt. "You deserve the truth," she whispered. Daniel leaned forward, frowning. "Then tell me. No more half answers. No more riddles. Just the truth." Lyra took a slow breath. "Long ago, before your kind even walked the earth, my people discovered something. A pattern in the stars, a code woven into life itself. We believed it was the key to survival, to evolution. But the code was incomplete." Daniel listened, every nerve on edge. "So we searched," she continued, "across galaxies, across time. We watched new species rise. We studied them, tested them, waited, and then we found you." Daniel's heart pounded. "Me? You mean humans?" Lyra shook her head. "Not humans. You, the spark that completes the code, rests in you alone. That is why I said, I need you. It was not a lie. Without you, my people cannot live. Without you, Earth cannot survive what is coming." Daniel's skin went cold. He remembered the visions from the Kortha War, the destruction, the shadows swallowing Earth. "So this spark, whatever it is, I'm supposed to save both our worlds." "Yes," Lyra said, her eyes glowing faintly brighter. "But it is not only a gift, it is a burden. Others of my kind will want to use you. Some will want to destroy you. You are hope to a few, and danger to the rest." Daniel's throat tightened. "And what about you? Why did you take me? What do you really want from me?" Her eyes softened, glowing with sadness. "I wanted to save you before they could. I wanted to protect you, because I believe you are more than a weapon. You are more than a code. You are Daniel." For a moment, silence filled the chamber. Daniel stared at her, caught between fear, anger, and something he could not name. She was alien, mysterious. And yet she looked at him like no one ever had before. But before he could respond, the walls shuddered. The glow of the crystals dimmed. A deep rumble echoed from above. Lyra's head snapped up, alarm flashing in her eyes. No, they are here. Daniel pushed himself to his feet, wobbling. Who? More of those red-eyed things. No, Lyra, said grimly the council. The chamber ceiling dissolved again, stars swirling into view. But this time, the stars were blotted out by massive, shape-stowering figures of light and shadow. There were many of them, their glowing forms stretching. Across the void, voices filled the air, layered and booming. The human carries a spark. He must be judged. Daniel staggered back. Judged by them. Lyra stepped in front of him, her voice fierce. No, he is not ready. You will not take him. The voices rumbled in unison. He is dangerous. His existence threatens balance. Daniel's chest tightened. Wait, what does that mean? But the council did not answer. The largest of the glowing forms raised a hand, and the air around Daniel turned heavy. His body felt like it was being pulled apart, torn between light and shadow. Lyra reached for him, shouting, "Hold on, Daniel. Fight it." Pain shot through. His body, the same golden light flaring in his veins. But this time, it burned. He cried out, falling to his knees. The council's voices boomed again. He is not ready. Remove him? Daniel's vision blurred. The chamber spun. He felt himself being lifted, pulled upward into the swirl of stars. Lyra clung to his arm, her eyes blazing. I won't let them take you. But her shimmering form flickered, struggling against the council's power. Daniel's mind filled with fear, anger, and one desperate thought. I don't want to disappear. His body glowed brighter, golden light surging uncontrollably. The chamber shook, cracks splitting through the crystal floor. The council paused. Their voices uncertain. The spark resists. Daniel shouted through the pain. I'm not yours. I decide my own fate. The golden light exploded outward, blinding the chamber. The pull on his body broke, and he collapsed back onto the floor, gasping. Lyra fell beside him, holding his arm tightly. When the light faded, the council was gone. The stars had vanished. The ceiling sealed again, leaving only silence. Daniel lay on the floor, trembling. What just happened? Lyra's face was pale, her voice hushed. You defied the council. No one has ever done that. They will not forget. Daniel's chest rose and fell as he stared at the ceiling. He had fought soldiers. He had faced the warden. And now he had stood against the council itself. But deep inside, he knew this was only the beginning. Lyra leaned closer, her voice heavy with warning. Daniel, the true war has not yet begun. The council was only the first. Something greater waits in the shadows, something that even I fear. Daniel turned to her, his heart pounding. Then tell me, what's coming? Lyra's glowing eyes met his, full of fear and sorrow. She whispered only 3 words. The devourer comes. The chamber went dark.